Hello, Craig Smith from the Home Education Foundation in Palmerston North, New Zealand. We're talking about how we can educate our children at home, give them a truly first-rate education at home. Question sometimes comes up, what are the tools of learning? Well, that's a good question. Now, it comes from an essay written by Dorothy Sayers back in 1947. You want to look this essay up on the internet, you'll be able to access it and have a read. And it's called The Lost Tools of Learning by Dorothy Sayers. And it's a brilliant essay describing a classical approach to education, which actually follows the development levels of children. You may have heard the terms grammar, logic and rhetoric. And that's the basic stages. I like to liken it to knowledge, understanding, and wisdom. And at the early ages of a child's life, 3, 4, 5, 6, you know, our little ones can memorize vast amounts of information, memorize it accurately, and repeat it on command, word perfectly every time. You'd be surprised at what your children can memorize. Get them memorizing vast passages of scripture, important speeches from history, and bits of literature that you like. And get them to repeat, memorize them, and to repeat them. Stand in front of the family. A friendly setting for the child gives them a marvelous opportunity. At public speaking, they can stand behind a little podium or a table and repeat a poem they've memorized or a piece of scripture they've memorized. In a family-friendly setting, they're not going to get shot down, they're going to get applauded and congratulated. Good experience for children later on. They can stand up in front of a crowd and speak. So, the tools of learning. Again, look at this. Dorothy Sayers, The Lost Tools of Learning, and she explains what these are. Grammar, logic, and rhetoric, which is basically, grammar is facts. I just think of it as facts. Your little children can memorize tons of facts. And then the logic is understanding the facts. You know, they can start to make connections among the facts. And they can memorize their phone number, and they need to, and they can memorize your cell phone number and Big Brother's cell phone number and Grandma and Granddad's cell number. They can memorize all those. And they may not understand the difference between a cell phone and a landline, but that's all right. They know what these numbers are, and they know what they do. If I poke those numbers, I get Mom on the other end of the line. And so they can learn to make the they can do the grammar part, memorizing the numbers, and then they can do the logic part, understanding that whenever they see a number in that format, that's probably a cell phone number. Or this is a landline number because it has a different format. So they're making the connections there, they're doing the understanding. And then, so that's grammar, logic, understanding. And then rhetoric is the third tool of learning, is where they now have the understanding about what constitutes a cell number and what constitutes a landline number. And so with the wisdom they can, or the rhetoric, is they can now explain to another person why this system is so good and why that person needs to adopt this system. Is because they understand how it works, and they have a bit of wisdom as to why that works better than other systems, and they can explain the ins and outs of it to another person and convince them and exhort them to adopt this system. That's what the Grammar, logic, rhetoric. The rhetoric is where you are able to explain and articulate the system even better, to a point where you can convince another person that that's the way to go. So that's those are the tools of learning. Grammar, logic, rhetoric is how it's summarized in Dorothy Sayers' essay. But she connects that with age development brackets of children, and I think it's absolutely brilliant the way she does that. And you look back in your own family, you can see, yes, that's right, that's exactly how it works. And she does that historically too. And it really gives you a handle on how to present material to your children, and and also what to look for in their own intellectual development. Yeah, the tools of learning, certainly there they are. Helping your children to listen accurately and to memorize. But of course, you can't ever get past the 3 R's, reading, writing, and arithmetic. You can't get past them. You want your children to master those 3 skills.